So let me know if you guys can see this. Like I said, I haven't had to actually use Google
Yeah,
Meet screen sharing in a while.
it works.
Sweet. All right. We got the split UX agent gateway issue. I don't see a name on this. Anyone want? Is this just more of like a PSA kind of
Yeah, so I
at this
put this
point?
down, but I was hoping Josh or Chandler could give like a recap of the current state. Or I think maybe we can just click into it and go over what's currently covered by that issue.
Yeah, click into
Yeah,
there.
let's
And
click into it.
Yeah, I think it's a nice recap of like what's in progress versus not. I think he's just sharing the docs though. Tim.
yeah, you have to click to share the
Sorry
new
about that,
tab.
guys. Oh my god.
If you go to the new tab, you can just click. It like lets you switch the tabs on the share pretty easy.
Yeah, we'll just call this growing pains, won't we?
There
We go. Okay. Yeah, Josh and Chandler, you guys want to give an update, kind of where we're at here?
Yeah, I can jump in. Yeah, basically, we got a lot of the core prerequisites in to like get a first beta out with a lot of the breaking changes. We got the GVK split. We got the new agent gateway parameters that Chandler was able to bring in, and this really allowed us to split a lot of the remaining underlying stuff that was coupled is more split. I made sure I did a full audit of the code base to make sure that we're respecting controller names and the enabled flags everywhere, as those kind of came in later, and there were still a few places those it didn't really matter that they weren't respected quite right because everything was still running together. But now that it's split, it's pretty important that these flags are working correctly. This was really needed for making sure I could have the reduced RBAC on each install as well. So that way each install doesn't have the RBAC for the other, which actually creates a very nice separation. You don't even have to worry, like, even if something was wrong with the code base, like it literally can't work or operate on the other ones. So that's great. We have a few follow-ups here, mainly that we also want to actually publish a new image for the agent gateway control plane. The reasoning for that is that we can remove the Envoy validate image, which really reduces the surface area of CVEs for agent gateway and just maintenance for that, as well as making the image smaller. It just doesn't need to be there. And it also unlocks, while we're pushing towards ARM images for both Envoy and Agent Gateway, it completely unblocks it for the Agent Gateway path and doesn't put Envoy in the way of it anymore. Then we're also going to implement the registry alias, just like we have the CR kgateway.dev for the Envoy-based installs. We're going to do the CR agent gateway.dev for the control plane install of agent gateway. Right now in the beta that we published, this just pushes to the GitHub registry for the moment. But for GA, we can expect to have the real registry in place. And then I think there was another follow-up, Nina, that you were going to take on here and rename change the default gateway class back to agent gateway. And we threw an initial migration approach for the beta. I think we talked about it a little more, and we think it works fine to leave the default class name the same, and anyone that is migrating, we can really easily just document the YAML to create that extra class, and they can use that one. Seems pretty straightforward to do it like that. So Nina will do that follow up. But yeah, we're getting there. Definitely a few things left to make it feel ready for the actual minor release, but getting to the point where these betas are gonna start really feeling like the end UX we're shooting for. And if you're an agent gateway user and you're looking for this stuff to settle, I think that the current beta that we just put out is a pretty good jumping in point, and we'll be getting more out moving forward. And you should see in the change log and the release notes of that much less changes that you have to react to there. So. Any questions from anyone joining or trying out Agent Gateway?
If not, Nina, I just added like that issue you created to
Yep, I saw. Thanks.
Okay, just to triple check. Okay. Let's see. New features call up. Oh, you know, it's probably worth actually I don't want to like prematurely end that kind of stream, but it's also probably worth calling up the progress on like the Envoy front as well. At some point. But yeah, any other questions, comments in that kind of like Agent Gateway projectizing kind of work? Okay. New features call out. I don't know who added this.
I added it.
Oh,
Too.
you
I
know
think
what?
you're sharing your
Yep.
yep.
Wait, am I sharing? Oh my God, sorry about this, guys. I gotta manually switch between. Okay, I see. All right, let's go back to this. I see now. Okay. Yeah, so you added this new. Oh, this is basically what I was asking about is like progress in the
Yeah.
Envoy front. You want to
Yeah,
just run around
so
with this?
so the feature gaps, I think like it's maybe worth calling out. Like I think everything except two are addressed and they're in progress. And then there's a couple of specific ones that I think were popular asks that so like OIDC has merged. The remote fetch on the Agent Gateway side now supports backend policy, so you can use like TLS for your remote fetch. And was the other one that I added. The front-end TLS support also landed.
Okay, sounds good. So almost there, 90% there. I think there's some follow-up work here. Finalize auth policy naming. Here, let me just triple check. It's kind of like a live group. Okay, so this is in 2.2. We should do that before cutting. This is basically done. There's just some minor follow-up work. This is just stats related. Okay. Yeah, so we're pretty much done in the context of here. I'm sure there's some more asks around like migrating away from Nginx ingress.
Yeah, there's a
Or
few
ingress
things.
Nginx. I always blank on that, which one it is.
Yeah, there's a few things still in flight, and Omar and Danian are going to get up some information on the ingress to from ingress to gateway API additions that we did to help convert Nginx like annotations to kgateway config. So there's going to be a blog about that, and they'll have that up soon. And they've implemented a lot of them already, as well as one of the big things missing probably from this board that we are looking at very seriously for the next release is the ARM support that I kind of mentioned. Definitely for Agent Gateway. We also have I think we have some options for being able to deliver it for Envoy as well. So we're looking into getting that done, and really trying to make sure we deliver that because we've been asked for it a lot. So.
Yeah, on that front, hopefully this is sharing correctly. Yeah, Lawrence did an update earlier too. Probably worth if there's some time at the end of the call, just kind of enumerating on our plan here.
I think this could be even a follow up because like Lawrence is building up a plan here, and you'll see like more will get created out in GitHub on kind of our approach here. But
okay, sounds good.
I think for now, I just kind of want to mention like we are targeting it. We are trying to fill that gap.
For yeah, we can circle back. I had just like in case we want to dig a little bit deeper. So Nia, this backend policy for remote jock store, is that Agent Gateway specific? I wasn't super familiar with this work.
Yes, it's Agent Gateway specific. So I should have said Agent Gateway policy for remote job. Yeah, but the PR has an example in it. Yep.
Makes sense. Front end TLS, I think that was stuff Seth might have been hacking on. Actually, I can just quickly, maybe GitHub's having some issues. Anyways, I was just curious. I don't want to dig too much into it. Anything else we want to call out here? Also on the topic. Any questions from anyone, etc.?
Yeah, so I have some question. The migration tool, but I don't see Daniel or Alma here. So, by the way, the blog is being worked on, and we would love to get it published. But I think the tool right now, we all agree we need to build the binary. Otherwise, we have to tell people to go to the GitHub, clone the repo, and then run the builds to build it, which is not a great experience. So we need to figure out how to do the binary. My question is, do we know why we are not developing this in upstream directly? Is it because the complexity of the work? And also, when are we going to contribute to upstream for the migration tool?
Lynn, I have a quick question just for my, like I've been on the sidelines a bit. You're basically saying we forked Ingress to Gateway. Is that correct? In like the kgateway org?
Yeah, the ingress
Got it.
So if you look at, just so everyone
I'll
knows,
pull it up.
if you look at the kgateway branch GitHub repo, there is a branch specific for this work. Yeah, ingress to gateway, right? Which we, I think Daniel and Alma recently added the support for kgateway, right? So that when the user goes to this tool on the Kubernetes official repo, whenever they do a binary release, they can do this migration steps to say, hey, my gateway implementation is kgateway. Can you migrate my Nginx ingress or my ingress to a gateway API specifically related to kgateway? So right now we're developing this in our branch. So my question is, do we know why we are doing this? And also, do we have any ETA to move it back to upstream?
Josh,
I would
you
have
want to
to
take this?
Yeah, I'd have to get this. You'd have to get the specific ETA from Danian. The reason it's in a branch is because the changes required to actually do this upstream were requiring some bigger like refactor and how upstream worked and allowed for extension of like these kind of custom implementations a bit. So that kicked off like a bigger discussion upstream and design, and that is in progress to bring in like the extension points upstream. But with that said, we didn't want to wait to be able to deliver on the blog. We didn't want to wait to be able to like deliver on this content. So that's also why like I told Danian for the first iteration of this, like this kgateway branch that we were just looking at here, like that eventually will go away. So we don't need like official machinery in there or anything. I told him like I would just build these binaries like yourself for now and get them posted up to the release as artifacts so people can download them.
That's fine. Yeah,
for the purposes of our initial like blog, I think that's fine. And then he's going to target getting in an upstream, and then we can always just reference that moving forward. So that was my.
I think that
guidance.
works. Whatever we can get out there fast and people can try it and give feedback, I'm all for that. I just feel it's odd to ask user to build it.
For sure. We have to. I totally agree. I told him to put it on the build it, put it on the release, and not. But I also didn't want him to like worry about having a CI process there, because the intention is that he follows that up and gets it in upstream, and then we can reference that. But we just didn't want to block being able to. There's a lot of work here that's not related to the extension points upstream for this tool. I don't think people coming from Nginx necessarily care. They just want a guide and a tool that can help them get there. So
Exactly.
we wanted to get that out regardless.
Okay, cool. So I'm not missing anything major, and we all agree we need to put a build out there, and we will longer term contribute back to upstream. Yeah.
Yep. It's plan.
Josh, if Danian's involved a little bit with this? I was trying to find because I remember seeing this in the Ingress to Gateway repository around, trying to formalize. It seems like it's an emitters kind of based approach. Danian's involved in this at all? Because I thought this was the blocker for.
He should be. I I would really love to have his like name on the proposal too, because I found this was a little interesting, Lynn. It's worth taking a look at, Lynn, because like we posted up a original PR with like this idea of emitters, and then another basically, which is fine, like one of the owners ended up taking it over and wanting to get it in and implement it as a standalone piece, like without all of our extensions and stuff, which makes sense as like an order operations to bring it in. But I would really like to like at least get Damien's name on the original proposal and make sure we're getting like credit for the original idea of the emitters on there. And I think like he has been involved in giving feedback and working with them too, and like trying to get it over the line. So maybe they added it or not, but just when I first saw it get posted, it didn't have that on there. But
Yeah, so do we understand why they did the work without Daniel?
no.
Okay.
So I would yeah, circle around with Damien on that, because it seems a little I think it's all fine. I think that he was also unavailable and out a few days, and so I think it did make sense to split it up, because like what we had originally posted up was the idea of emitters and like what we needed it for, right? Like we posted up all of our extension points and stuff, and they wanted to basically be able to like break out the emitters as a design, and then just be able to bring that as a standalone thing without any of the implementations like coming in, right? So that makes total sense. But yeah, just worth circling back on, I think.
Okay. So maybe Tim, can you pin me that PR privately? I'll take a quick look, see if it makes sense to reach out to the author of the PR, maybe give Daniel some recognition for that. That's what we are asking for, right? Because it is hard, like in open source, people doesn't wait. We have the same thing in Istio too. If you're out for a few days and somebody else is available to do the work, right?
And I think that's
We
all
want
that
to
happened.
block
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a quick look. Yeah, thank you.
And to be clear, we're very happy that like we proposed that and they picked it up, and we're like excited to get those type of changes in, because it's just good for the project. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks. I actually know him. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just triple check, Lynn, that the link I provided to you was correct. I think Danien's still in offense. Like he's definitely the source of truth. I thought this sounded familiar when we looked into it.
Yeah, I will pin Daniel first. Yeah, thank you.
Sounds good. Anything else? So that was like kind of like a mini ingress to gateway kind of update. Anything else on this like stream of burning down some like issues with the Envoy based implementation? All right, cool. Looks like Michael, Art, you guys are up. Looks like just some doc updates. Do we have either of them? Art, you around?
Hey, yeah, I'm on. I think maybe it's a weird time zone difference for Michael. I just wanted to give a quick follow-up to a topic that we brought up maybe it's a couple months ago by now. We had a community member, Michael, working on a glossary feature in the docs, and so that is now merged. This includes this first link, which is just a glossary of all kind of like key terms, and these have definitions. And then there's also a feature that he added to the doc framework that lets us do kind of like hover over tooltips. So if you click the next link that I have in the doc, that will just kind of show you an example of what that looks like. And so, for example, if you go, sorry, scroll back up a little bit. If you see some words are underlined like control plane under component architecture, it will do like a little hover over where we can put a definition. So how this is controlled, if you are ever writing docs and want to contribute that, we have a contributor's guide that just kind of tells you what shortcode to use and where like these definitions are stored. It's basically like a data YAML file that you would need to update. And then Michael also wrote a little blog just kind of outlining his process about how this all worked and whatnot. So just thought it was kind of neat, cool that we had some community members, kind of take an interest in this and design it and work with some people on gathering the definitions and getting something published out there. So yeah, kudos to him. And that's all I've got.
Very cool. Very cool, very cool. I gotta catch up with the docs in general. We completely split agent gateway. How do I get to, sorry, I don't want to distract you guys. I was just kind of curious. I haven't looked into the like data plane switcher at all. Is that like separate domains are while I have you? Is that like kgateway? So like if I look at this right now, how do I get to the
Yeah,
agent
so
gateway?
you're in the Envoy proxy. So if you
Yeah.
see under by the search bar, the docs has a drop down that will let you switch to the different
Cool.
main proxies, and they have totally different search, nav. They could even have their own versions. The versions are kind of equal right now, but yeah, we're also in the process of updating these for the like on the 2.2. You know, we need to clean up some of the new helm paths and once the images are out and that sort of thing. So we have a few like doc epics to do that too. So that works in progress.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, sorry, not to distract from that. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's that. Any trailing stuff art? We all set here?
Nope, I think that was it for me. Thanks.
Awesome. Yep.
Great
Shout out to
improvement, Art.
Michael too. Cool. The other update, I don't really need I think it would be good to like vocalize this. Here, let me find the issue again. Share this tab. There's a couple different issues. Maybe we should close one of them as duplicate, but I just want to give it like a quick update. And like Josh already alluded to this a little bit in the past where, we're kind of iterating quite a bit on like the 2.x stream of this work, but there's still some like historic issues around multi-R support and specifically, ARM64. So we have a plan on like how to address. Josh, it sounds like you might have talked with Lawrence a little bit in terms of like we're going to formalize this with issues a bit. Is that accurate? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So, yeah.
accurate. To give the high level overview is like for this next release, Agent Gateway shouldn't be a problem. We'll split the control plane and we'll be able to do this. There's no real blockers other than the splitting having a new build that doesn't have the Envoy validated in it, which isn't hard. On the Envoy side, we have the transformations implemented with the new like Rust extension SDK. And there's a few changes that aren't in an upstream Envoy release to that SDK that are needed for for those transformations to work completely. So we're just at a little bit at a point where we're waiting for an upstream Envoy release, or we have the changes in our like Envoy glue, which we're trying to get away from and blocks us going to ARM. So all that we're in is a little bit of a timing thing. Once that upstream Envoy releases out, we're all set, ready to go on and have ARM for the Envoy control plane and data plane as well. But even for this release, we might do something where we make the upstream image available, and it just comes with the caveat of like you can't use transformations, but if that's not a feature you care about, then you can still leverage ARM. So it depends a little bit on when the exact release is, if we can pick up the Envoy build. But we'll formalize our plan here. But either way, the stuff's coming down the pipe. It's not a matter of like if, it's just when. And so like this will all be available in early 2026, regardless, right? So just a matter of the exact timing, coordinating with other upstream things. So
Josh, do you consider this? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm curious about your kind of opinion here. Is it something we would block 2.2 on? Because I think it's kind of like a blocker where you have like people are kind of like sprawling around a little bit. They want to train or they want to try out like Agent Gateway, but they might also have like, I got to migrate away from like Nginx ingress. I got to go find a Gateway API implementation. And this just seems like a hard blocker for adoption, even if it's like an existing problem historically.
It could be, especially if we can have a really rock solid like RC where we're satisfying like people that are chomping at the bit to get these Agent Gateway changes, right? And then we could say that's a blocker for the actual GA, and we wait for the Envoy release, which is supposed to be in mid-January. So those don't always exactly happen on time though too. So there's a few, but yeah, I think it's worth considering because it's getting asked for a bit.
Yeah, sounds good. I don't want to like throw this in a milestone and like disappoint users. I just think it's like, you can clearly see there's some like notifications. People want this, and then there's like another issue in terms of Arch. I'm saying
Yeah.
information you already know. I'm just highlighting to the rest of the group that people want it. I know we're about to be on time. Only thing I want to highlight though, and Josh, I should have talked to you about this too. I actually did, and maybe Nina, did she drop? I ended up looking a little bit into Envoy glue and what it would take. It's pretty straightforward. Well, this is being recorded, so maybe I should temper expectations. It's very doable in Envoy glue if we ever want to pursue that direction, but I think the approach that Josh outlined is the most feasible in the short term in order to support. So want to highlight that. But yeah, any questions, guys? Josh, any other color on this issue?
Nope. I mean, basically, like we'll get these out as soon as we can. And even if like Tim, you alluded, like even if it wasn't a release blocker because we had to get something out for other reasons, like we'll make sure we'll get betas out or something out with this ARM support as soon as the changes are available in Envoy upstream releases. So
hey guys, real quick, this is Ed. I'm sorry to jump in here, but on the ARM support, I'm trying to follow here. Is the agent gateway able to currently support ARM, if you build it yourself, or it sounded like I'm getting confused between what's agent gateway blocker versus what's kgateway blocker. Over.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a stab at this, Josh. So Ed, like the issue right now is, we're kind of doing this like refactoring where, we split the Helm charts. The issue here is that we use this like Envoy glue distribution of Envoy. And right now, the way that both the kgateway and agent gateway images are built, it's like the same binary. And so they're
for the controller. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for the controller. So it inherits the issues of multi-arch compatibility from Envoy. And we're actively trying to fix that. And so like there's a long-winded way of saying like, let's imagine, maybe it's not in the next beta, but before like Q2RC gets cut, it's not gonna be an issue. Like agent gateway controller is gonna be multi-arch specific. There's just a little bit of tech debt on the Envoy side, and an attribution before this kind of like project was donated from the CNCF.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully that makes sense.
To answer Ed's specific question, I assume you could build if you want yourself. Is that true? If you build the control plane yourself, that should be fine. For
Yeah,
ARM?
you could.
Yeah.
It's just the way our current like Docker file is wired. They're very coupled, and we need to decouple them. So it's probably more effort than worth doing. But if you need this sooner than later, and you want to actively hack on some agent gateway stuff, let's talk.
Okay. Rock and roll. All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great
And then-
question. Thanks.
Yeah. So for agent gateway, that will for sure be in the first RC and this release to have the ARM support, and keep an eye out on the beta threads, because like we're probably going to do one more beta still before, at least one more before we cut the RC, and that could also have the support there. So.
Cool. Looks like we're a little bit over time. I don't want to keep you guys here. I think we have other meetings too. Yeah, good question, Ed. Obviously, hit us up in the Slack if you have any questions or file issues, etc. Cool. Let's call it, guys. If I knew how to like stop screen sharing in Google Chrome, I would have done it already. There we go. We figured it out. But yeah, good conversation. All right, let's call it. Have a good night. See you guys.
Thanks.